Hello everybody and welcome to episode 8 of my non-league to legend save. My name is Tom and today we'll be finishing off the last couple of games of the regular season before we head into the playoffs, and that's already a spoiler for what's coming up later on prior to the what's been happening since you were last with us from the in episode 7. Before we get into that, this is actually a brand new goalkeeper that we brought in just a couple of games after you were last with us, and this is Dan Wallace, a 21-year-old sweeper keeper, so that it kind of sort of works with Gegenpress system that we are playing. As you can see here, 3.5 star current ability, 4.5, doesn't say 4.5 star just yet, but has the potential to be if those black stars become gold stars a bit later on down the line. As you can see, he has had a few ups and downs when it comes to his attributes, but if you have a look at the star rating though, he is a full star better than our previous starter in Michael Johnson. He says he's currently operating at National League South level. And if we did a little comparison with Johnson, our former keeper, at the sweeper keeper role, it seems like they're fairly similar in terms of the stats. But the only thing that Johnson's able to do better at than Wallace at the moment is the speed and the aerials. But apart from that, Wallace is either matching or is better than Johnson at. And the fact that he's got a little bit more age, or more youth alongside, will mean that he's got bit more chance to grow and improve those attributes. So yeah, he's also 21 years old, so he's got plenty of time to improve. Although, having said that, his debut for the debut in the first couple of games didn't go too well, as you'll find out in a second. So following on from the defeat against Dorking, we then lost again, this time at home to Maidstone by once again a penalty. Jonathan Edwards scoring from the penalty spot on what was Maidstone's only shot on target in the entire game. Says it all really. Again, we can't take advantage of the chances that are coming to us, especially when players like Ray and Donovan are providing key passes and key chances here, and our strikers aren't finishing them, even though we had a man advantage for 22 minutes. So that's made it now 3 defeats in a row. And that was compounded by another 1-0 home defeat, this time against mid-table Hungerford. One free kick from Kofi Halliday resulted in them taking all 3 points, and this was Dan Wallace's actual debut, and he should have really done better with the free kick that was taken, and I was really a bit disappointed with how that ended up in the net, and yeah, really frustrating that we're now on a 4-game losing streak, and you probably think after losing 4 games in a row here, surely you're out of the title picture. Well, it turns out we weren't actually, and we were still in it somehow because the other teams like Bath and Dorking were also tripping over. Not in these games, but in future games, as we'll see in the league table in just a second. We then concluded February with a crazy game at Concord Rangers. As you can see from the timestamp of the goals, we went 3-1 up thanks to Thomas Richardson and Jason Banton before we were pegged back to 3-all inside 30 minutes by Concord. And I was thinking, oh, here we go. The reason the new goalkeeper has resulted in the team chemistry being completely screwed around, and we're then going to start losing games left, right, and centre, as you saw from the fact that we've lost 4 games in a row, although the last game was Wallace's debut, so I can't really put the blame on him for those the first 3 defeats. And then it got even worse when Tariq Issa scored a 4th to take the lead for Concord Rangers, and then we missed a penalty. Byron Lawrence being the culprit, missing from the spot, before Banton rescuing a point from us with 14 minutes remaining to ensure we took a point away from Concord Rangers. And really, we're down in relegation form, and you'd probably think again that we were out of the title race, but again, we were somehow still in with an opportunity, and we really need to turn around this form if we want to stay up there. And thankfully, we turned it round with a 3-0 victory against local rivals Chelmsford City. Goals from Femi Akinwande, who finally ended his goal drought, Byron Lawrence from the penalty spot, this time not missing, and then Jaden Gibson rounding it off the 3 points, and a vital 3 points, especially as he had only picked up 1 point from the last 5 games, so it was nice to finally get back to winning ways. It was also helpful that Chelmsford City had quite a lot of tied play, so we had a little bit more fitness about us, and we were able to take advantage and get the important 3 points. And we followed that up with another victory, this time convincingly 4-0 winners at Chippenham Town. Goals from Banton, Lawrence from the penalty spot again, Thomas Richardson and Joe Ray in the 93rd minute ensured that we took away another 3 points. So it was a perfect start to March. But as you'll see, it kind of went a bit pear-shaped in the next game. So up next was bottom of the table Hampton and Richmond at home. And as you can see, we threw it away. We lost 4-3 to the team that was sat bottom of the table at this particular point in the season. Now that they're outside the relegation zone, but still, it's a really bad result considering where both teams were in the table. Jason Banton opened the scoring before a player that I was looking at signing if Hampton Richmond did get relegated, in Tyrone Luthwaite, scored twice thanks to 2 stupid errors from Kyron Clements, which is also, as you can see, his rating was down at 6.1. Thomas Richardson then equalised before 2 more goals from Jake Gardner-Smith after half-time ensured that Hampton Richmond had restored the then had a 2-goal lead. Jalen Gibson then pulled one back, but we weren't able to get that another 4-4, and unfortunately, we ended up dropping a massive clanger when it comes to this result. Really unacceptable performance. I was incredibly angry off camera, obviously, when I did this game, and thankfully you guys didn't see it. Otherwise, I probably would have had a few curse words here and there on an actual video, which I don't want to do. That would ideally, this is a family-friendly channel. I don't really want any curses or anything like that in this in these videos. So, yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't see that, but I was just really, really annoying to lose this game. We did bounce back, though, at home against Dulwich Hamlet, who had made their way into the playoff race, actually, and were very good in this game. As you can see, based on the stats, they completely dominated us, barring slightly on possession. But we got all the 3 goals. Joe Ray with a goal, and then Thomas Richardson scoring 2 goals towards the end of the game to kill it off. They also missed a penalty. Thankfully, Wallace was able to save a penalty. That was our first penalty save of the year. From their fullback, actually. I don't know why he was taking the penalty when it could have been any of the forwards, but I guess because of the fact that their penalty rating for McCoy was better than their strikers, so who knows. Anyways, win, and it was important to get the 3 points on the board. Then things fell off the rails once again, this time away at Tunbridge Angels. As you can see, we lost this game 3-1. Goals from Tehi, I think I pronounce it, Bira, and then Tom Derry ensured that Tunbridge Angels got 3 goals. Richardson scoring to make it 2-1. And we had a chance to equalise from the penalty spot, but Akinwande missed the penalty, and I'd taken off Lawrence earlier in the game, and he was the best penalty taker. Fortunately, he missed, and that resulted in us still having to chase the game rather than it being level. And in trying to attack and go all-out attack, Tunbridge Angels then broke away at the other end and then scored to make it a defeat for us to start the final month of the regular season in April. And the final game we play before we end up playing these final 2 games on camera was away against Wealdstone. Now, this is a team that was not too far away from us in the league table, so it was kind of a bit of an important game. And at the time, we could also secure a playoff spot at this particular point. As you can see, we did go 1-0 down thanks to a goal from Brian Gallack, but then Banton equalising after half-time, for Akinwande finally scoring another goal, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, Dominic Hutchinson then equalised with 15 minutes remaining. And in the last minute, Brian Gallack got his second to ensure that Wealdstone won the game and actually draw level with us in the league table. And as you'll see right in a second, it's very interesting, and it's quite a crucial result, actually, between us two. That's going to potentially decide what's going to happen when it comes to league positions. But this game and the previous game resulted in us being mathematically wiped out of the title race of us getting a automatic promotion. So we're going to have to grind away and battle in the playoffs. It's a question, though, what position we will finish in the playoffs, as you'll see by the table. So you see right now, we are still sat in 3rd place somehow. I don't know. I think it's because of the fact that we were quite a few points ahead and other teams were kept tripping over each other. It's the reason why we're still in 3rd. Billericay, though, the team that was slowly creeping up the table towards the end of the last episode, are now top of the table, ahead of Bath City by 1 point. And it's between those two as to who's going to take the title and automatic promotion. As you can see from here, Wealdstone are now level with us, and that win ensured that they drew level with us. So it's all down to the last 2 games as to who gets that 3rd spot, which will then result in a first-round bye in the playoffs. Otherwise, if you finish 4th, that means you have to play the 7th place team, which could be anyone at this rate. As you can see right now, Dorking have gone from 1st place to out right at the end of the last episode to being completely out of the playoffs with just 2 games to go. Look at their form, is absolutely atrocious. To use an American term, they've gone from the penthouse to the outhouse, and if they throw this away, it's a real massive bottle job on their side. You could say we bottled a bit a few times because we did go to the top of the league on a couple of occasions, but we weren't there consistently. So, and we weren't expected to even win the league. So that's, I would say, we were actually in a position where we should be. Related to the Wealdstone game, though, if we'd gotten a draw, we'd have been 3 points clear of them, and then we'd only have to lose one game, and that we have the assurance of losing only just one game, and therefore on the last final game of the season, if we won this next game that's coming up, and we would still be finishing third. Because if you see by the goal difference, they need a 10-goal swing in the last two games to overhaul us. But yeah, now the fact that it's level means that Wilson just have to better one result than us, and then just match this final result, which is which will allow them to take third place, and we will drop to fourth. We are still Dulwich can still catch us as well, and we could drop to fifth. But I think we're definitely safe from Maidstone and Weymouth, and we have guaranteed ourselves in the playoffs, as you can see by the PL thing info on the side there. Despite losing that game against Wilson, we still guaranteed we got ourselves a playoff spot from that after that game because of the fact that results went in our favour as well. So today's opponents in the first match are Welling United at home. Now this team is currently sat in mid-table, have no worries about being relegated, but are nowhere near the playoffs. So really they're just trying to round off the season on a high, I guess. And as you can see, we drew the last game between us away from home. Hopefully we can finally turn around this recently shocking home form where we've lost, I think, the last 4 home games. If we have a look here. Actually, no, we haven't lost the last 4. We've won one of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. We've won one of the last 5 home games that we've played. So we really need to turn around that home form here. It's actually the away form has been not too bad. We did win against Dulwich Hamlet in the last home game though. So hopefully we can take that momentum from that good result into the next game. And here is the team that we're going to go for. So it's our new keeper in goal, Wallace. A back 4 of Hutchings because Jack James unfortunately picked up a yellow card in the last game, which resulted in him being banned for 3 matches. So he's actually out for the rest of the league season, and he's out for the first game of the playoffs, regardless of where that what that playoff round is, whether it's the semi-final round or the first round if we end up dropping to 4th. So Hutchings is having to play at fullback because I don't trust, and I want Urquhart as the guy that's can play all across the back 4 as a sub. Clements and Clark in central defence, as I heard. Clements recently had a 2 bad run of games, but thankfully he did okay in the last game, 6.9 rating despite conceding 3. Clark is alongside him, Riley Lowe at left back, Lawrence and Rare in central midfield with Cole and Banton the wings, Richardson alongside Akinwande. I've switched those 2 around. It seems like those 2 prefer to be played around in this sort of direction. We also have a new striker on the bench who's come through our youth development, Alfie Charuli, who made his debut in the Dulwich, not the Dulwich Hamlet game, the Tunbridge Angels game. Didn't perform too well in his first appearance for the club, but he has done very well in the under-23s, as you can see. 33 appearances, 25 goals, an average rating of 7.5. So he can come up into the first team, and I'll bringing him on if Akinwande is again strongly. He's got the same role that Akinwande does, so that's why I brought him up. And Gibson is now dropped to being in the reserve team. Probably a bit harsh on Gibson, but I wanted to give Chiruli his opportunity as well. So without further ado, let's get into this match. Clark is struggling with match sharpness, so that's mainly because he's not really played that often, but he's done okay when he has stepped in due to suspensions or injuries. So I'm hoping that doesn't come back to haunt us. Right, so they're playing a 4-3-3 system compared to our 4-2-2-2 system. So we've got to watch out, obviously, for Coombs, who looks like the star player for that team. And I think Diamond, this central defensive midfielder, seems like he's got a good eye of... is that assists or goals? I can't remember what that icon exactly represents. But anyways, let's get in. It's probably assists, I think, given the fact that Cole's got that icon alongside. Let's do opposition instructions. I'm going to go for this because it's our final home game of the season, of the league campaign. Sorry, we will have a home game at least, either in the first round or the semi-final of the playoffs, depending on where we finish as before. Seems like everyone has reacted well to that, and let's get into a game. Let's hopefully get a win, which then puts more pressure on Wealdstone to then have to win to stay in touch with us. Because I think if Wealdstone will lose this game and we win, even if we lose the final game of the season, it's going to mean that they're going to have to get a swing of goals because of the goal difference that we have, superior goal difference that we have against the current team that's sat in 4th place. There's no goals occurs from that corner. And as I say that, Wealdstone have taken the lead against Tunbridge Angels, the team that we lost to earlier on in this month. And as you can see, we are now currently sat in 4th. We've got to do something here to try and get a goal back. Mason have taken the lead against Eastbourne Borough, so that doesn't really affect us too much. They can't catch us anyways. I'm more looking at the likes of Dulwich Hamlet, etc. I'm going to accept that short passing play and see if that makes a difference. It doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's going to be a highlight here for Welling, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like we've won it back, though. Akinwande plays the ball forward towards Richardson. He's got a bit of pace about him. Takes a shot, and Wilkes makes a save. First shot of the game, goes down as a clear-cut chance. Unfortunately, we can't convert it. It seems to be a continuing trend, as I've seen in other FM series, that one-on-ones don't seem to be... the conversion rate of one-on-ones isn't that great. So maybe I'm getting too angry at the fact that we're not converting these chances, but still, it's frustrating to not score when we're on clear-cut chances when they do come to us. As Wichita took a nice shot there, and Wilkes makes another good save. That's 2 shots, two on target so far. That was a half chance, though, and that was quite a difficult shot, especially with traffic in front as the ball goes in. Akinwande misses it, unfortunately. Seems like their defence can't head the ball either, and that's gone out for a goal kick, unfortunately. Akinwande couldn't win another corner. McDonough on this left-hand side for Welling. Back to, I think it's Aguiman. Oh, I was going to say Anderson crossed it in, but Aguiman messed up the chance there, and Wallace is able to hold it for us. As you can see, we've got their number 9 pressuring us down. But look at that. That was a poor clearance away, but we've managed to get it back. No, we haven't. Unfortunately, there's a bit of head tennis going on here, and looks like Welling are going to come back at us here. Coombs on the left-hand side, tries to play it through. Hutchings clears it, though, and is able to cut out that pass. Banton plays a forward attacking one. Can he score? Potentially. No, he cannot. Unfortunately, of course he can't. I should remember, one-on-ones don't work, and that's the second clear-cut chance of the game. And Akinwande can't finish many chances when they do come to him, despite him scoring a couple of goals in the... that was a chance again. He had a free header as well. It's really annoying. Ooh, Bath City have taken the lead in their game, which means that they are now currently sat top of the table. Looks like Dulwich Hamlin are winning their game, so they're only 2 points behind us as it stands. So we could drop to as far as 5th if things stay as they are. And we... actually... We'd have to draw. We have to lose the last game and Dulwich to win, because a draw, again, if you look at the goal difference, they need a 26 goal swing in the final game of the season if they're going to steal that 5th spot. So I think we're still sort of secure in 4th. But I'd like to take that 3rd place, please, if we could take the lead against Welling here. But it doesn't look like we're going to get another highlight here. It looks like it might be Welling's first highlight here, with Coombs playing the ball in towards McDonough and Wallace with an easy save. It was a difficult chance for the striker for Welling, and Wallace is able to deal with it. But look at that. Oh, that's given away. That's really poor. I don't know what he's doing there, but Clements is able to cut out the dangerous pass that was going across the box there from Coombs. It's going to come back at us again here, though, as Lawrence has managed to win the ball back. He's on a yellow card, though, so I was a bit concerned that he was going to get sent off. Cole on this right-hand side plays it through towards Richardson. Saved by Wilkes again, and it's gone out for a corner. That doesn't go down as a clear-cut chance here as we come towards... half-time in this match. We're still sat at 0-0 at the moment as the ball is poor into the box from the corner, and Welling now have opportunity to break on us as Coombs keeps running on this left-hand side. Banton, though, is able to make the tackle and ensures that Welling can't put the ball in. Right, it's half-time and it's still 0-0 at the moment, as you can see from the other results around the grounds. Bath City 2-0 up. Billericay are being held by Dorking, who are desperate to try and get back into the playoffs. Dutch Hamlet winning, as you know, and Wilson winning, as you already know as well. So we need to get out there, and we need to hopefully try and get this victory. I'm going to go for this because we didn't play badly, because we're not behind, and we're not playing a team that's completely terrible in terms of the league form. But I'd like to get a goal, please. That would be absolutely nice. You can see basically the start of the player ratings, the only one that's not really doing that great is Joe Ray at 6.4, Akinwande and Richardson on 6.6 and 6.7 respectively. If those drop, though, we're going to bring on Chiruli and see what happens. I'm also going to keep an eye on Lawrence as well with that yellow card. I do not want another player suspension before the playoffs here. That would be a complete disaster, as Welling now kick it off up towards Coombs on this left-hand side. Tries to get past Hutchings, but he's played it out to Rooney, to Williams, Agimang, Ming. Back to Agimang on inside the box here, and Wallace makes it an easy save, though, due to the angle being very acute for Agimang. Banton to Akinwande, who for some reason is not in the box. I don't know why he's not there when he's a striker. Akinwande back to Banton, ball into Ray, and it's a nice goal there. Joe Ray getting his 11th of the season. We have taken the lead against Welling. As it stands right now, we go back up into 3rd place. On goal difference, of course, as you can see, we've still got that 10-goal advantage on Wilson. So Wilson really need to score several goals here in their respective match against Tunbridge to have any realistic chance of taking the third place if we end up matching their results on the net in the final game of the season. But not over yet. We've still got 25, 20, 30 minutes left. As we see, we've got another highlight for Welling here. Ming on this right-hand side, ball into the box. Hutchins clears it only as far as Agimang though. And yes, I knew it. A poor piece of defending there, and it's an instant equaliser pretty much from Montel Agimang, his 6th of the season, and we have conceded once again here from a poor piece of defending. Really, really disappointing. It was like Hutchins had just nodded it down to Agimang, and there was no one there to cover, and Agimang just had a free chance to just shoot the ball out, and I'm really annoyed about that, the goal going in there. Hutchins apparently is only on a 6.7 despite that mistake though, so I don't know what's going on there. He's struggling for fitness as well, so Urquhart is going to come on. He is a fullback by trade as well, so we need that fitness on that right-hand side. It's really annoying, so I was just about to make the changes once again, and we ended up conceding, unfortunately. Adenuka Cole's had a bad game as well. Bonnet Johnson's going to get back into the team a little bit. He's been coming on every now and again, but again, he's not really done too much. It's really a toss-up between him and Barker as to who takes that spot on the bench here. We need to do some more stuff here to try and get the goal here, because we're now back into 4th as it stands, and it will be out of our hands when it comes to the final game of the season for that 3rd spot here. We're going to go attacking and see if that makes a difference. Riley Lowe, ball forward up towards Akinwande, who tries to get the better of the number 4. He's again on this wing. Banton's nowhere to be found, though, where he should be. Banton plays the ball in towards the box, and it's not found anyone, and Wilkes is able to claim it very easily for Welling here as he clears it up towards Coombs, and Lawrence is able to retrieve it, though. Urquhart, who plays it back to Lawrence, who's closed down by 2 players. Clements plays the ball forward. Oh, the defender's missed it. Richardson has a chance here, and Wilkes again makes a save, and that was an opportunity for us to, again, retake the lead, which would have been nice. And unfortunately, we weren't able to take it after the mistake from the defender there, as Lawrence plays the ball in, and it's missed everybody, unfortunately. Richardson only gone as far as Richardson, who plays the ball back in towards Lawrence, who might have a shot. Doesn't do so. He plays an interesting ball to Clements, though, out to Richardson, who's in the box again. Ball out towards Banton. It's too far. Do eat, though. Play it back, please. Lawrence has a chance on the edge of the box. Cleared away by Anderson. And as a Weymouth go 2-0 up in their respective game, in their bid to get into the playoffs here. And that's the end of the highlight. Unfortunately, we aren't able to get the goal. Another corner. Lawrence to whip it in towards Banton. And yes, there finally we get a goal from the corners. Jason Banton with 17th of the season. I'm now going to drop back down to balanced. And hopefully that means we don't concede another goal. That will be nice. Banton gets his 17th of the season. He's been on a fairly good scoring run recently, which has been nice to see. And as you can see, we're now 2-1 up. We're back up into 3rd. Still got a long way to go, though. So we're not getting complacent here. Lawrence with another corner, though. It would be nice to get another goal from a set piece, as it's cleared away this time by the defence. And it's now a 2-on-2 here. Williams against Riley Lowe and Urquhart here. And we've got good tackle from Urquhart there. What a vital challenge that is. He plays the ball forward towards Akinwande. It's cleared away, though. And we've got ourselves... But it's given away, though, by Welling, as Banson's now in here. He takes... Oh, that was so close for him to get to him getting a second and killing the tie off. That would have been perfect if he'd managed to do that. We're going to make our final change in about now, I think. 8 minutes or so remaining in the game. Richardson's not had the best of games, so Chiruli's going to come on, actually, in that position. And we're going to leave it at that here, because Akinwande's not had a bad game despite not being able to score today. But we're going to do that. Keep Richardson fresh for that final game, which could be all very important here, as we've got another highlight here for Welling. It's given away by them, as Bonnet Johnson is now in the centre of the midfield, and now towards the left-hand side, the complete opposite side to where his position is. But he's lost the ball, unfortunately. I thought he'd been fouled there, unfortunately not. And apparently that was a highlight. I don't know why it was. Banton on this left-hand side plays it to Akinwande, who's on this left-hand side. Tries to get past the number 4. He has done, though. And Wilkes makes a save, though. We've now got 4 clear-cut chances to our name. We've got 6 added minutes of time added on here. I don't know where those extra 6 minutes have gone, as they made a defensive change here. I don't know what's going on there with that substitution for there. As Tunbridge Angels have equalised against Wealdstone. So now, as it stands, we're going to go 2 points clear of them. And even if we draw the game in the last game of the season, I think we'll be safe from dropping to 4th. But that's a mistake from Clements there, as Cook the chance, but Urquhart saves his bacon and is able to clear it with just over 3 minutes of normal added time to go here. Please hold on, guys. We need this victory as the ball's ricocheted around and it goes out for another corner. We need to do more defending here. As I say, it's their fourth corner. We got 15 on our side. Goodness me. We've not really made the most of them as the ball was missed completely, but it's a foul by the Welling player, and that results in us getting a free kick. Banton trying to get the better of their number 2 Ming here, who's slid it out, but it's gone out for a corner. So take as much time as you like, Mr. Lawrence. It looks like we have taken a lot of time there, and they've got 10 seconds to go. Oh, now, not less than 10 seconds. Now we're over the allotted time here. We should be hearing the whistle every time soon, which will be nice to hear. Please whistle. It's with 15 seconds over here. Rooney with a chance and Wallace making a good save, although it's offside anyways, which is good. That surely is it here. We're going to win a game here, which is in April, which is it's a big result as well, as we will go 2 points clear of fourth place, as we're still playing here. We're almost a minute over time here. There we go. We're now, as it stands, I think Wealdstone haven't been able to turn their match around. If I just do that to give them a nice pat on the back as we head into the final game, which will be the Oxford City, which we'll see in just a minute or so. We're just going to have a look at see what the table looks like now. Yep, looks like Wealdstone weren't able to get a winner there, and it results in them now dropping 2 points behind us. And Bath City have now taken the lead at the top of the table, and it's going to go down to the final game of the season as to who out of Bath or Billericay is going to take top spot and automatic promotion. We are now 2 points clear of Wilton, as I mentioned before. We are now safe to be finishing fourth, at least. We are guaranteed a home game in the playoffs for one of the rounds. But it's now a question as to whether we do finish third or fourth. And if we draw the next game away at Oxford City, who are now out of the playoff race based off that table, we'll still maintain third unless Wilson can get 9 goals, better our goal tally by 11 or more, and we will take third. They will take third instead, as long as we don't lose and we'll still win. That's the main thing we need to worry about. So here are the final set of fixtures for the regular season, and it's actually very interesting storylines all up and down the table here. So Billericay and Bath City have got to go away from home respectively to Chelmsford and Chippenham. Although Bath City's tie is a little bit more trickier because Chippenham Town are in a relegation battle, and if you have a look at the table, it is very close actually between 3 teams at the bottom. There's also 2 other teams in Eastbourne Borough and Hungerford that are in the relegation battle as well. If Hampton Richmond win and Hungerford and Eastbourne Borough both lose, that's going to drag one of those 2 teams down as well. And if we have a look at the other fixtures that teams are involved in, Eastbourne Borough are playing Hampton Richmond and St Albans are playing Hungerford. So these are big games here down at the bottom of the table. Also for Wealdstone, they've got to play at home to Weymouth, who are just inside the playoffs. They are pretty much there, though. If you look at the goal difference again, Dorking need a 9-goal swing to get into the playoffs here. So they either need to win 4 or 5-0, whilst Weymouth lose also 4 or 5-0 or something similar. But Weymouth have got their own aspirations of going further up into the playoff positioning and hopefully getting a home game for them, because they've got a 2-point gap between themselves and Dulwich Hamlet, who conversely, Dulwich Hamlet can also leapfrog Wealdstone if Wealdstone don't slip up against Weymouth, whilst we have got to play against Oxford City. We have nothing to play for, but at the same time, we do not want this banana skin to affect us and Wealdstone have the opportunity to jump us. As I said previously, a draw would be fine, but I'd like to win just so we could get ourselves the momentum going into the playoffs and we go into that first playoff match at home with a really good momentum. If we lose, that's when things are going to get interesting, because obviously Wealdstone then need to win their respective game to jump ahead of us. A draw would not be good enough for them. So, onto the team selection. Just one change from the previous game. Urquhart comes in instead of Hutchings. Hutchings drops to the bench because of that that mistake he did to result in the Welling goal. Urquhart was played very well when he came onto the pitch. Despite his match sharpness, I'm thinking he needs to play because the role is much more suited for him. So yeah, everyone else stays where they are though in terms of the bench and everything else. So let's get into the game. So a 4-1-4-1 formation from Oxford City. It's very defensive minded with just one player up front. And the out to wider midfielders aren't really that far pushed up. So we've got to keep an eye on that. That's why I went to balance actually on my team tactics, because I didn't want to invite them out to. I didn't want us to be counted on, etc. So That's what we'll do that. Let's just do the opposition instructions. Okay, what to say to the team. So let's go for this. And that will seems to have motivated several players, which is great. It's important. That. Let's get into the match though. Once we finish off the positional team talks. Oops, I forgot to turn off the sound there. That's almost that was almost a disaster there. I've just muted it just to make sure it's all done. I don't really like having the sound on in the game because it's a little bit distracting hearing the whistles and stuff like that. So as Oxford inexplicably give us a corner there was no pressure there whatsoever to put the ball out like that. And there's an opportunity here within a minute to get a nice ball in, but it's cleared away very nicely by the Oxford City defence's ball goes into Akinwande, and he shoots wide. Unfortunately, there's no opening goal from the highlights. I will be keeping an eye on what's happening with the table here. As the ball comes into Clements, and that was a chance there for the centre back to get the ball on the ball. As I was saying before I was interrupted, I will keep an eye on what the league table is looking at. As you can see, Wilson looks like they've taken the lead in their game as they're now level with us on the points tally here. As you see there, they've scored within 5 minutes. So as they've now got 2-0 up here. That's a goodness me. They're really turning up the goals here. They only need 8 more. If they look at goodness me, 3-0 inside 15 minutes. Goodness me, they could easily turn it around. If they score another 8, they are within the. They could overtake us here as the ball goes in. Rare. Oh goodness me, it was over the crossbar. I thought it was blocked on the line. They had so many players on the line there. It was really defensive minded there from Oxford City at that corner there. As Ray, Akinwande back to Ray. Ball up towards Cole, but it's cleared away by the Oxford City defence. Sheridan out to Owusu on Malabi. Ball out towards Sheridan here. Oxford City can still finish. Oh, they can only finish 9th, really. So they're kind of defending themselves and trying to get as far as well. That was offside, surely. Owusu with a shot, and Wallace is able to save it, though. It wasn't called offside, though. I don't know why that was the case, as they got their first clear-cut chance of the game from that. It was a shot on target as well. Wallace made the save, though, which was important. Ball in the box. Clements clears, thankfully, only as far as rush. It seems like set pieces is probably something we've got to keep an eye on, because especially with how their formation is at the moment, as we have them trying to build again. Owusu on this left-hand side. Please win the ball back. Urquhart fouls. I don't know who that was again on number 10, but I think it was Owusu there. And it's a free kick. No highlight, though. Okay, so it's half-time. It's currently sat at 0-0 here. Having a look at the scores around the ground. Bath City are 1-0 up thanks to a Brunt penalty, although Chippenham missed a penalty, so that's crucial for the bottom of the table there. Bath City and also the top. Bath City currently, as it stands, going to win the league and promotion. Maidstone winning at Dorking, so they're doing well with their playoff position. Everywhere else, and as you know already, Wilson are 3-0 up, but they haven't added to that tally. So as it stands right now, we're still looking good. I still would like that goal just so we're in the clear here. I'm going to say I'm going to go for that and see if that's because we weren't really that great, to be honest. It seems like everyone's motivated though. I went calm though because I didn't want to upset the players too much, because we're not losing and we're still doing what we need to do to get to, or as it stands, to get to the 3rd place. But I would like to win, as I said on many occasions. As we now kick off the second half. Bottom doesn't look any different either. Hampton, Richmond, and Chippenham are the 2 teams that are currently projected to go down, unless there are changes in the results here and there in the next 45 minutes. Free kick for Oxford City just outside the box here. Ashby delivers it. It's cleared away, thankfully, out to Rush, who takes a shot. It's deflected around. Goodness me. Osa almost put it in, but it was offside anyways. It wouldn't have counted if the ball had ended up in the net. Urquhart plays a ball forward towards Richardson, but Richardson's not able to knock it down to Owusu. Cornish now plays it forward. Clark is able to get it back, though. Clark trying to get back towards Rush. He wins the ball back, thankfully, which is good. Riley then plays the ball to Akinwande. Can't find him, though, unfortunately. Looks like Oxford City are at us again here. Wallace is going to get to it, though, and no Oxford City charges him down, which is important, so it allows him to freely make a nice pass here. Please don't mess up at the back here. I've already had, in the actual off-camera games, I've had 2 instances where mess up at the back has resulted in the opposition scoring in 2 separate games. And that sort of kind of cost us the being in that fight right at the top there, as you can see, between Bath and Billericay. As it stands, it's still Bath still top of the league. As Owusu shoots into the side netting, and we breathe a sigh of relief again. And as we've demanded more, I already did a shout before the last highlight. So we're going to make changes now with 24 minutes or so remaining. Branton and Akinwande haven't had the best of games, so that's an excuse for me to put Chiruli on for Akinwande, and I'm also going to take... I don't know whether to take off Banton for Bonnet Johnson here. I'm actually going to keep Banton on for now. Just make the one change, I think. Although, Ware is struggling a little bit with fitness, so I'm going to take him off. Harry Donovan is going to come on in central midfield. That's the only two changes we're going to make for now. Oh, Weymouth have got a goal back in their game against Wealdstone, so that's made the task a little bit harder for Wealdstone in their quest to overhaul the goal difference. But again, one goal for Oxford City results in us dropping behind them. Richardson, though, has scored. It's a great. That's given us an insurance policy. Nice ball forward from Urquhart to give Richardson his 23rd of the season. That's a huge goal, and we're now with just under 20 minutes remaining. We are in the driving seat here. We can concede a goal now, and we'd still be up there as long as we don't concede two. That's the idea. And nice finish from Richardson there, I think probably doing the keeper with the eyes there as he scores. And as it stands right now, we are currently 2 points clear of Wealdstone. Only 3 behind Billericay in the end, which is a shame. If only one of the results had gone further in our favour, we would have been right there. Billericay looks like they're winning though, so that's now down. The gap's now down to 1 between the two of them. Weymouth have now pulled a second goal back against Wealdstone. So if Wealdstone drop points here, or concede another goal, they might be in a little bit of trouble with Dulwich Hamlet winning their respective game as Clements is able to win it. I thought a penalty was given away. That was scaring me a little bit. Clements is now going on a run on this right-hand side here. He's going so far out of position here. Ball in towards Cole, though. There's a chance to score. Unfortunately not, though, and that would have completely killed the game there, as with 11 minutes to go, King makes a vital save on Cole's attempt, as we now have a corner to come into the box here. In towards Cole, who heads it straight at King, unfortunately, and that has gone down as a half chance, apparently. Oh, I was just about to make the final change here. Sheridan plays the ball in towards Wiltshire. It's cleared away, thankfully. Only as far as their fullback here. I'm not going to bother pronouncing that name because I'm probably going to completely butcher it, as I've previously many occasions. They've only just made their first change after just 6 minutes, with 6 minutes to go. We are going to make a change on the defensive side, though. Hutchins is going to come on for Clark, and then we're going to swap those two around, like so. And therefore, they're now in their suitable positions, and Hutchins is completely fresh as well, which is important with 6 minutes remaining. We've got a fresher leader at the centre-back in there, which is nice. Okay, it looks like we're going to be winning this game here because there was a little bit of injury time added on here because we were right into the depths here. Chippenham aren't doing enough, unfortunately, to get themselves back in the game. Looks like Billericay have been pegged back there, as have Bath. That's why the goals are there. Cerulli, though, scores in the final league game of the season. He gets his first goal of the season. First time he's scored in the for the team in the first team level. That was a nice ball in from Cole. I think it's a header from Cerulli, which was very nice indeed. Cerulli, yeah, very good header, good leap into the corner of the net, and it's 2-0. We may have ourselves a player on our hands if he's going to be the guy that's going to step up if we decide to let Akinwande lead. As we've now got the 2-goal advantage, it looks like we're going to be ending here, hopefully. Yeah, there we go, 2-0 victory. It didn't really matter what Wealdstone did in the end. We ended up doing our bit anyways, and we get the victory, and we're going to go into third place in the playoffs, which is fantastic, which is a big momentum, and we get a bye in the first round, which is great. So there you have it. This is the final league table for the end of the first season for us. We finished in third, as you can see. Bath City take the league title despite only drawing against Chippenham, and Billericay could not capitalise and lost 1-0 to Chelmsford, which meant that they end up dropping into the playoffs with us, whilst Bath City get automatic promotion and the trophy and of winning the league. Elsewhere, unfortunately for Hampton, Richmond and Chippenham, they get relegated out of the playable leagues. Hampton Richmond lose it going down to Eastbourne Borough, whilst a draw for Chippenham wasn't enough to ensure that they stay in the league. If they had scored, they would have needed St Albans to either concede again or they needed to score a few more goals to actually win the tie. But those two go down. When it comes to the playoffs, Wealdstone, no one really changed position, as you can see there, apart from us confirming positions. So Wealdstone, Dulwich, Maidstone and Weymouth will now play in the first round of the playoffs. So I think it's Wealdstone versus Weymouth with Wealdstone at home, Dulwich Hamlet versus Maidstone with Dulwich Hamlet at home. I think how it works is that we play the winner of Wealdstone and Weymouth. So that could be very interesting if we end up playing Wealdstone in that semi-final. It's already a rivalry with the fact that we were so close to each other in both the games that we played against them in the league season and when it comes to the league table. So when it comes to the next episode, it will be the playoff semi-final against probably either Wealdstone or Weymouth. So if it's Weymouth, it's really good because we've got a very good history against them so far with the two really good victories against them, both home and away. Wealdstone, it's going to be more interesting because obviously we lost the last time we played against them, as you know. So without further ado, if you hope you enjoyed this episode, it's a little bit of a special episode with two games in that. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next episode, which will be the playoff semi-final. So until then, see you later.